Convection. Convection is thermal energy being carried from place to place by the bulk movement of a fluid. Now, a gas is a fluid. A liquid is a fluid. Those are all fluids. Those are states of matter where the particles can flow. Natural convection is because hotter parts of a fluid, like we did in this demo, they expand and rise because the blank force, what force is making that rise? The buoyant force, the buoyant force is greater than the force of gravity. Here's a demonstration of natural convection from Mr. Temmie's YouTube channel. In this example, you can see that some water with red food coloring is heated, so it's very hot. It is a hot fluid, and then placed in a cold fluid, and watch what happens. The less dense hot fluid rises because of the buoyant force. The rising of this less dense fluid is a heat transfer mechanism because the less dense, hotter fluid carries thermal energy to the top of this container. And that's what convection is, the transport of thermal energy carried by the bulk movement of a fluid. Now, if we want to put that in terms of an equation, in terms of rho cold and rho hot, rho again is the density. The buoyant force is greater than the force of gravity. How can we express that in terms of rho of the hot substance, the density of the hot substance, and the density of the cold substance? Let's figure this out step by step. The buoyant force is greater than the force of gravity. So we know what's got to go in this blank right here. How do you express the buoyant force? Hint, if you remember Archimedes' principle, that is how you can figure out what the buoyant force is. Archimedes said the buoyant force of an object is equal to the blank of the blank blank blank. Not the mass, the weight of the fluid displaced. So is it the cold fluid that causes the buoyant force, or is it the hot fluid? The hot fluid is what is rising. So it is the cold fluid. It is the weight of the cold fluid is rho of the cold. I'll use C for that. V of the displaced, and G. That's got to be greater than the force of gravity, which is on the hot fluid, and that is just rho of the hot fluid, density of the hot fluid, times the volume of the hot fluid. I'm going to put a C there too. V, H, and G. So that is how you can put that together equationally, what that means. Forced convection. This is fluids are forced by a pump or fan to carry thermal energy. If you have forced air heating in your house, that is forced convection. You're taking hot air and you're blowing it through these ducts to the cold areas of your house. So that's different than natural convection. Natural convection happens without you. All you gotta do is heat something. The hot stuff rises higher because of buoyancy, and it heats the stuff at the top.